Hello everyone, this is Lydia. So today I'm going to show you how I create my mold pieces, and this video was requested by Rosana. Hola Rosana, and what you're going to need is an object to mold, and then you're going to need your silicone material. So I use Amazing Mold Putty, and I also use Alumilite mold. This one is part A and part B. One is purple and the other one is white, and when you mix them together you're going to get a lavender color mold. They look like this. Here's a thread spool charm that I molded, and there's the little angel button. I'm going to redo that one today. And then this was a this angel piece that it's plastic that Tammy sent me that says Crafter 1, and I created a mold with that. I also go over to Michael's in the metal section where they have the metal embellishments, and I use the metal pieces to create some bird molds. And what else have I used before? Resin pieces also I've used. And when you use the Amazing Mold Putty, then your finished molds are going to be this color in yellow. So use a coupon. This runs about $20. Use a coupon. This one is a little bit more money, but you get more product. And just use a coupon on that also. So today I'm going to be working with the Amazing Mold Putty, and there's going to be instructions inside. Make sure you read those. And it is food safe, but if you're going to use it for baking, then you want to just use them for baking. You don't want to mix and create, use it for other things like creating clay pieces, because you don't want to cross-contaminate the material onto your food. And also make sure that you wash your mold pieces with warm water and a little bit of soap after you've done creating your pieces. The hardest part about making these is trying to estimate how much product you're going to need for the piece that you're molding. So that's the hardest part, that you have to kind of figure it out on your own. But after doing it a couple of times, you'll get the hang of it. And I recommend that you start, if you're going to do this for the first time, start off with molding something small, like a button or a little resin piece, a cabochon. This way, if you mess up, you're not wasting a lot of product. So I'm going to mold this cute little angel button that I received in a rack. And I cut off the shank on the back. And I did make a mold out of this one, but I didn't have enough material. So there's a tiny hole in it. Can you see that? So I want to remold this mold. And then you see how it's kind of flat on top here. What I do is I use a block, acrylic block, to press my object in. This way I get a nice smooth surface, kind of like what you see on the Martha Stewart molds that you can purchase at Michael's. So that's that. I get so nervous when I'm trying to do a tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to do that button, and like I said, the hardest part is trying to guess how much product you're going to need. And I'm going to use a little more than I probably would if I wasn't doing a tutorial, because I just tried molding this button and I didn't have enough. So I wound up squishing a cabochon in there. So this one is curing right now. So I'm going to use a little bit more because I don't want to redo this again. This is take number 2. So you're going to mix equal parts of part A and part B. Like I said, read the instructions. And this part alone, you don't have to rush when you're trying to estimate how much putty you're going to need. But once you start kneading it, you only have a total of 3 minutes work time between kneading and pressing your object. So you have to work fast once you start kneading. And it's pretty chilly here in Florida today, so I'm having to work a little longer on this. So right now I'm trying to get them to be equal. And you can use a measuring spoon if you want, or you can use a small measuring cup, but I just eyeball it. So that looks about right. equal size. Actually, this looks like a bit much. And you're gonna need a flat workspace. Smooth, clean, and flat. And I work on a large cutting board because I don't want to damage my wood table. So that looks good. Now I have 3 minutes to knead these together and get my object pressed in there. So as you're kneading it, as you can see the white and the yellow, you start kneading it and then it starts turning yellow. So you don't want to see any white. So just knead until it's a uniform yellow color. Okay, so that looks good to me. Now I roll it into a ball. And then I place it right on my cutting board and I flatten it out just a little bit. And then I'm going to eyeball the center and place my object in the center. Press it in just a little bit, and then with my acrylic block, I finish flattening it in. And then, if you have any cracks between your object and your mold, just press it all the way around to make sure that it's nice and, around your object. And remember, you have 3 minutes to do this because it's going to start hardening. Let's see if I can lift this without moving. Here we go. So it's going to look like this. See that? And you just let it cure. I think it's 15 to 20 minutes. So just put it on the side and let that cure. And then here's one I did a few minutes ago. I'm going to remove it, and there's my cabochon mold. And then I'm going to show you how I add my clay. So let's find something for me to add my clay to. Let's do this angel. He's pretty large. And the clay that I like to use is the Sculpey Original. You can find this at Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure about Joann's. And it comes in a, it's wrapped in plastic. And after you're done playing with this, you want to make sure that you rewrap it or put it in a baggie, because you don't want your clay to harden up. So again, you got to kind of estimate how much clay you're going to need for the mold that you're making. And then start kneading it. I hope I have enough here. I think I do. And it's cold here, so it's going to take a few minutes for this to really soften up. But I like working with this one. I tried the Fimo, but the Fimo is hard as a rock. And I have arthritis, so I have to use soft clay. You could also use paper clay to make your clay pieces. And there's tutorials on how to make paper clay on YouTube if you want to check those out. So right now I'm trying to soften up my clay, and then I have like a spatula thingy so I can scrape the excess away. So I don't think this is still soft enough. Oh, also your mold pieces, they can go in the oven. They can withstand up to 300-degree temperature. And for this baking clay, you need, let's see, 275 to bake. And it doesn't matter what size I'm baking, because I normally make like a large batch when I'm making my clay pieces, and I put them on a large baking sheet, and I just pop them in there for 30 minutes total. It's supposed to be like 15 minutes, I think, per 1/4 inch or something like that, but I stink at measuring, so I just pop them all in there. Doesn't matter what size, and I'm just pressing it into my mold now. Doesn't matter what size it is, and there's a little leg here that I want to get. I pop them in there, set the timer 30 minutes, and just leave it alone, and then I remove them all and let them cool down, and then I take them out of the mold. So now that that's in there, I'm hoping this doesn't come out because it's cold here today. I'm just going to scrape And having that flat surface on the top helps. So here's my excess, and kind of popped out because it's cold in here. So I'm gonna redo this. You guys can speed up the camera if you want. I'm gonna try this again. Now I have the exact amount that I need, pretty much. I'm trying to use my fingers to squeeze it into the foot here. See that? Hope you can see. I'm gonna get the foot. So he's pretty much in there. I don't think I have to even scrape this time, but I would normally just go like this and remove any excess. So now he's ready to pop into the oven. Pop him in the oven, 30 minutes. Let your mold cool down, it's gonna be hot, and then remove your clay piece. Now there's one more step. Now I have an angel mold. Let's see if I can find it. Where are you? Here, this one. This mold I made so perfect that I don't have to do anything when I pop them out. After I bake it, you know, I do my little scrapey thing here, the excess, make sure it's all clean around the edges. And after I bake it, he comes out perfect. I don't have to do anything to him. But on some of my mold pieces, I'll have like a little excess on the edges of the clay. And I forgot my nail file, but you're gonna need a pair of scissors, and you could just snip the excess right off with your scissors. That's what I'm doing here. So I'm snipping away the excess. And then with my nail file, I'll just smooth out the edges. And then I'll have my, it looks good like this, but you know, I try to get it as perfect as possible. So I just smooth it off with my nail file. So I hope this tutorial was not too confusing for you, Rostana. I think I covered everything. If you have any questions, everyone's welcome to post a comment down below if you wish. And I hope this is helpful to you ladies. That's pretty much all I've learned about mold making in the past year. Thanks for watching, everyone. Post a comment if you wish and subscribe. Have a fabulous day.